Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are looking at a true giant in modern fantasy, Zogarth's the Primal Hunter.
Oh, it's a monster of a series.
It really is. And it's not just about the story, which is huge in itself, but how it's fundamentally changed the game for authors in this genre.
Exactly. It's the perfect case study. I mean, you look at the numbers, the ratings, the sheer volume of it all, and you realize it's all built on this very unique ecosystem.
Right. And that's the core of our deep dive today. We're answering the question we get all the time.
Yeah.
What is this Royal Road thing, and how does it connect to the big polished audiobooks you buy on Audible?
And to get there, we have to talk about the genre, lit RPG progression fantasy.
Yeah, and a lot of you listening probably know these terms, but it's worth a quick refresher on why this specific structure almost demands this kind of publishing model.
It does. So lit RPG, it's fantasy, but the world suddenly operates on video game rules. You have levels, skills, loot. They're not metaphors. They're, tangible stats you can see.
And progression fantasy is laser focused on that. The whole point is watching the character get stronger constantly, measurably.
And Zogarth figured out that a story engine built on relentless progression.
It works perfectly with a publishing model that demands relentless content.
A perfect symbiosis. And at the center of it is our protagonist, Jake.
An average office worker, a little bored with his life maybe.
And then one day, the whole multiverse gets a system update, the rules just change overnight, and suddenly power is all that matters.
And what's so great is that while everyone else is, panicking about the monsters and the chaos,
Jake just thrives.
he finds out this desk jockey is actually, perfectly wired for violence. He becomes the ultimate apex predator, the primal hunter.
He embraces the grind. And what I find so fascinating is that he approaches this apocalypse with this almost corporate efficiency, just applied to killing monsters.
Strategic, pragmatic, he's not sentimental about it.
Which is a great anchor for the absolute insanity that follows.
So Jake had to take this huge leap of faith into a new world. And what's interesting is the author, Zogarth, he took his own leap of faith.
A massive one. In 2020, he quit his corporate job to write this full-time.
That's just an incredible story, betting it all on a web serial.
It was a tremendous risk, especially then. I mean, going full-time on a free platform like Royal Road meant he was banking entirely on building an audience before any traditional money kicked in.
He had no safety net, just his writing speed.
But the community formed almost instantly. That was the payoff.
Right. The sources say he's backed by over 3,200 patrons. That's more than just income. That's a direct vote of confidence.
Absolutely. And that stability is what allows him to keep up that insane output. It also creates a real feedback loop. Zogarth is famous for being active, doing AMAs on Reddit, that kind of thing.
So he's not just writing in a bubble. He's actually responsive to the fans.
He is, but in a smart way. He plans the major story arcs way ahead. He knows where Jake's C-grade evolution is going, for instance.
But he'll lean into things the readers love.
Exactly. The perfect example is Jake's meat skewer obsession. It was just this little quirky detail.
And the fans loved it.
They latched onto it, and so he incorporated it more and more. It became a signature character trait.
It's funny how those small things are what ground a character, especially when he's off fighting, cosmic horrors.
It keeps him human, and it keeps the tone from getting too grim. He's also said his inspirations are all over the place, from Skyrim to even Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Jake's name is a nod to the show, right?
Yeah. It just shows that lighthearted streak.
Which brings us to the structure itself, the multi-platform release strategy. This is the big point of confusion for new readers.
It is, but it's also genius. So Royal Road is the hub. It's the web novel site where it all started. And the key thing to understand is the pace.
One chapter, every single weekday.
Every weekday, with very few breaks. That's the lifeblood of the series.
That just sounds exhausting. I mean, how do you maintain quality and consistency with a schedule like that?
Well, that's the trade-off. The Patreon model provides the financial stability to treat it like a 9-to-5 job.
So it removes that feast or famine cycle you see in traditional publishing.
Exactly. The goal isn't necessarily literary perfection in every sentence. The goal is to deliver that constant, satisfying progression that the fans are there for.
That's a really important distinction.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's lay out the tiers for everyone listening, because this is where people get lost.
Okay. So at the very top, you have Patreon.
This is for the people who want it first.
Right. For about $10 a month, you get access to chapters that are about 50 chapters ahead of what's available for free.
50. So you're paying for that leading edge access.
Then you have Royal Road. This is the free platform, the engine for growth.
And it runs about 50 chapters behind Patreon.
But it's updated daily, and it's free. It's how millions of people find the series and stay engaged day after day.
And then finally, we have the Kindle and Audible books.
The polished, finished products, edited, compiled, and with that amazing narration by Travis Baldree. Each one is like, what, 20 hours long?
At least. But here's the rub. The lag time.
The lag time is enormous, and it's intentional. The sources noted that when Book 12 was coming out, the free chapters on Royal Road were already 200 chapters ahead of where that book even started.
200 chapters. That's almost a full year of daily content.
Exactly right. So it forces a choice on the reader. If you just finished Book 11 on Audible and you need to know what happens next,
You can't wait 6 months for Book 12.
you have to make the jump. You have to go to Royal Road and switch from this polished audiobook to reading the raw, daily web serial just to bridge that gap.
So Royal Road is both an entry point for new fans and a bridge for the hardcore ones. It keeps them in the ecosystem.
It creates this captive audience for the daily drip feed. He monetizes it 3 ways: early access on Patreon, community building on Royal Road, and the polished archive on Kindle. It's brilliant.
Okay, so let's talk about the payoff for that dedication. The scale of this story is it's hard to grasp.
We're talking a planned 15 books, at least, and with each audiobook pushing 23 hours. It's a massive universe.
So let's try to chart Jake's journey. It all starts in Book 1, of course. The system arrives, and he's thrown into the tutorial.
But he immediately stands out. By Book 2, he's not just trying to survive, he sets this very specific goal for himself.
To defeat 3 Beast Lords.
Before he'll even face the final boss, the King of the Forest, he's already thinking like a hunter, not a victim.
And in Book 3, he gets that iconic transformation. He grows wings.
He literally grows wings, yeah. And he doubles down on being a hunter, focusing on alchemy, and actively dodging the responsibility of having, founded the first city on the planet.
A classic progression fantasy move. He wants power, not politics.
Precisely. His goal is that D-grade evolution. But the system keeps pulling him into bigger things.
Like in Book 5, the first huge system event.
A treasure hunt in a cursed land called Yalston, full of ancient vampires. The scale shifts from personal growth to universe-wide competition.
And it just keeps escalating from there.
Yeah.
By Book 8, he's part of the Evil Order of the Malefic Viper.
Yes. And just as he's getting comfortable there, he gets dragged back to Earth.
Because there's an emergency.
A huge one. Another Chosen has invaded, so now the stakes are planetary defense.
And all that pressure leads to his next big power-up in Book 10.
Right. After he finally hits C-grade, he enters a place called Nevermore.
A world wonder. Which is basically a massive dungeon and competition.
Yeah, where all the newly minted C-grades from across the multiverse are pitted against each other on leaderboards. It's pure, hyper-competitive fun.
And by Book 12, it's the climax of that competition, and it's gotten so intense that
literal gods are getting involved, directly and indirectly. The stakes have become cosmic.
So Jake and his party have to make one final push in their last challenge dungeon to climb those leaderboards.
And just when you think the scale can't get any bigger, Book 13 comes along.
Nevermore is over. Jake's back on Earth, but not before a quick trip.
A fun little trip to the moon with his best buddy space worm, Sandy.
I just love that detail. It's so perfectly lit RPG.
It is. But right after that whimsy, the scope explodes again. The battle for the Milky Way Galaxy begins.
Every inhabited planet has to get involved.
They have to choose a side or fight alone, and Jake's journey has put him right at the center of a galactic war.
So wrapping all this up, the big takeaway for you, the learner, is that the Primal Hunter is so successful not just because it's a great story,
but because it's a masterclass in this modern serialization model.
The system Patreon funds the daily writing.
Royal Road builds the community and provides the daily fix.
And Kindle and Audible capture the polished, final product for a different audience.
It gives Zogarth a steady income and a constant feedback loop that keeps the momentum going over more than a dozen massive books.
It means that if you're caught up on the audiobooks, you now know exactly where to go. You can jump to Royal Road and bridge that 200-chapter gap yourself.
You don't have to wait. You can switch from being a passive reader to part of the ongoing daily process.
Which leaves a final question for you to think about. If the story is being updated every single day, and you can be hundreds of chapters ahead online, does that instant gratification of the daily drip feed outweigh the satisfaction of waiting for a perfectly polished 20-hour audiobook?
Which experience truly defines the hunter's journey? The live, continuous hunt or the epic, polished saga told in retrospect?